Welcome back to English Unfolded, where we unfold English together. So, this is the part 2 of 1.3, the cop and the anthem. If you haven't watched part 1 of this chapter, the link is in the description below. So, make sure you watch part 1 first and then come back to this video. So in the previous video, we saw how Soapy tries so many times to get into prison, but always he is unsuccessful. The very first time he gets into a luxurious restaurant, but the waiter catches him because his trousers and his shoes are torn out. He's thrown out of there. Second time, he throws a stone into a plate glass of a store, but still the police does not catch him because the police says that people who break glasses do not uh, stand in front of the police and talk with the police. So that was also uh, not there. Also, he was not successful. In the third attempt, he went into a restaurant. He ate a lot of things. We saw the flapjacks and donuts and all, but still the waiter did not call the cop, and the waiter threw him on the pavement. So this all we've seen that he was thinking that some magic has caught him, that he has got some immunity to not go in jail. So we start from here. In a cigar store, he saw a well-dressed man lighting a cigar at the swinging light. Okay, he had set his silk umbrella by the door on entering. So, in a cigar store, he saw a well-dressed man and he was lighting a cigar. So, swinging here means moving back and forth or from side to side. So, basically, from fire. He had set his silk umbrella by the door entrance. So this man had a silk umbrella and it was at the door. Soapy stepped inside. He went inside the store, grabbed the umbrella. He took the umbrella and sauntered off with it slowly. Sauntered means walk in a relaxed manner. The man at the cigar light followed hastily. Now, what do you mean by hastily? Very quickly, with excessive speed or urgency. Okay. So, my umbrella, he said sternly. Sternly means seriously and severely, especially when asserting authority or exercising discipline. So, Soapy went with the umbrella, but the man is behind him saying that this is my umbrella. Oh, is it? Sneered Soapy. So now he's questioning the man uh, whether is it yours. Sneered means smile or speak contemptuously or mockingly. Okay, so we adding insult to pity, larceny. Well, why don't you call a policeman? Now petty means of little importance. So and larceny means theft of personal property. Okay, larceny means yes, so it's a crime of or threat to theft of personal property. So adding insult to petty larceny. Well, why don't you call a policeman? I took it, your umbrella. Why don't you call a cop? There stands one on the corner. So as we all know that the dream of Soapy to reach the Winter Island is to reach that is Winter Island means the jail. So now the next attempt that Soapy does is he took the silk umbrella of a man, and when the man is asking that it is my umbrella, yeah, okay, and then he is saying that why don't you call a policeman? If it is your umbrella, call a cop. Okay. The umbrella owner slowed his steps. He slowed down. Soapy did likewise, with a premonition that luck would again run against him. So this entire part, when Soapy came outside the uh, shop of the cigar store, and he started running, so the man followed him. So this entire sequence, they are running. Soapy is running in front and the man is running behind him. But then the umbrella owner stopped. Slowly he stopped, and but Soapy also stopped with premonition. Premonition means a strong feeling that something is about to happen, especially something unpleasant. So he was of the thinking that this time I'll definitely get arrested. Now the policeman eyed at the two curiously. Eyed means looked. Okay. Of course, said the umbrella man. Well, you know how these mistakes occur if it's your umbrella. I hope you'll excuse me. I picked it up this morning in a restaurant. If you recognize it as yours, why I hope you'll. Now, what does this entire dialogue mean? Okay, so the man is saying, of course, the umbrella will be yours. Such mistakes happen. Now, why is he saying such mistakes happen? And why is he saying that you will excuse me to Sophie? Because he picked it up in the morning from a restaurant. So the umbrella does not belong to the man. So he assumes that this umbrella must be Sophie's umbrella. And that's why he's saying that I hope you will excuse me. Okay. Now, of course, it's mine, said Sophie savagely. Savagely means in a fierce, violent, and uncontrolled manner. Okay, so he was, yes, very violently he said, of course, it's mine. The ex umbrella man retreated. Now, what does retreated mean? Move back or withdrew. So he went back. The policeman hurried to assist a tall blonde in an opera cloak across the street in front of a streetcar that was approaching 2 blocks away. The policeman, which was standing there, he ran to catch a tall person and blonde. Blonde means hair, having hair of a fair or pale yellow color, this color hair. Okay, most of the Americans have these blonde hair. Okay, in an opera cloak. Now, what is an opera cloak? Okay, so can you see this blue color cloth? Okay, it is a rich material worn by women. So, in opera is a place where there are singing shows. So you can search on it. But in opera, these cloaks are worn. These uh, kind of it's kind of a robe. It's worn, and a person was wearing that. So the policeman ran behind that person. Okay, uh, where was he? Across the street in front of a streetcar that was approaching 2 blocks away. So the policeman, which was standing there, he went. Soapy walked eastward through a street damaged by improvements. What do you mean by damaged by improvements? There are many holes or pits into a road, and then when you repair those holes, then it doesn't look uniform. So that's why they are saying damaged by improvements. So the holes or uh, whatever pits were there, they were filled, they were repaired, but they were not uniform. So it wasn't a uniform road. That's why the author is saying damaged. He hurled the umbrella angrily into an excavation. What do you mean by hurled? Throw or impel. What do you mean by excavation? Yes, a hole or channel into the ground. okay, which has been excavated. So this is a excavated place. Okay, so yeah, so the umbrella which he had, he threw it angrily into the excavation. He muttered against the men. Muttered means whispered, speaking slowly. Something he was constantly speaking. Muttered against the men who wear helmets and carry clubs. Now helmets, here it refers to the helmets which policemen wear, and carry clubs. Now clubs here mean a club is a thick heavy stick that can be used as a weapon. So the sticks which policemen carry, that club and not any other club, because he wanted to fall into their clutches. Clutches means grasp someone tightly. So the because he wanted to enter in his winter island, so he started doing all these things in front of policemen. They seem to regard him as a king who could do nothing wrong. So this is just a comparison that the police thought of him as a king who would do nothing wrong. Okay. At length Soapy reached one of the avenues to the east where the glitter and turmoil was but faint. What is turmoil? Turmoil is a state of great disturbance. So there was a lot of disturbance, there was a lot of crowd, okay, and it was very glittery, very much lighting and shine. He dragged himself toward Madison Square, a place, okay, for the homing instinct survives even when the home is a park bench. Now what is homing instinct? An animal's innate ability to return to its territory after traveling away from it. So homing instinct means the feeling of being into home, the feeling of being into a comfortable place. Okay, so yeah, he dragged himself towards the Madison Square, for the homing instinct survives even when the home is a park bench, which means that there is a park bench in Madison Square, and there he went because you know that he does not have a house. So for him, the park bench acted as the home, and that's why the homing instinct. But on an unusually quiet corner, Soapy came to a standstill. So there was a corner where he came and he stopped. Here, so in that corner, there was an old church, quaint and rambling and gabled. What is quaint? Attractively unusual or old fashioned. The church was old, but it was very attractive. Rambling, rambling means spreading or winding irregularly in various directions. Okay, and gabled means with gables. Now, what are gables? I'll show you. So, we saw quaint is attractive but old fashioned. Rambling means traveling from place to place, wandering, but here it means widespread, it means covering a large area. So, the church was very big, covering a large area. Gabled means the triangular upper part of a wall at the end of a ridged roof. So can you see this triangular region? Okay, so this triangular region is known as gable. So there were these triangular structures on the church. Then uh, through one uh, violet stained window of a soft light glowed. So there was a violet colored window. From the window a soft light glowed, some light was coming, where no doubt the organist loitered over the keys, making sure of his mastery of the coming Sabbath anthem. Now what is organist? A person who plays the organ. Now which organ can you see here? So this is a musical instrument called the organ, and the person playing it is called as the organist. These are present in churches. Okay, so who was practicing? The organist was loitered over the keys. Loitered means what? Stand or wait around without apparent purpose. But here it means that he was loitered over the keys, means he was, yes, he was going, he was pressing all these keys and he was making some tune, making sure of his mastery of the coming Sabbath anthem. Now, what is Sabbath? It is a day of religious observance and abstinence from work. Abstinence from work means no work will be done on that day, kept by Jews and Christians. Okay, so on Sabbath there is a particular anthem is going to be played, and the organist is practicing that. Loitered over the keys means he is practicing that anthem so that he becomes a master to play that anthem. For there drifted out to Sophie's ears sweet music that caught and against held him transfixed against the convolutions of the iron fence. So the sound of the anthem drifted. Drifted means flowed. Okay, flowed into Sophie's ears, and the sweet music caught his attention. Transfixed means, what do you mean by transfixed? Cause someone to become motionless with horror, wonder, or astonishment. So here it's not horror, here it is wonder. So he was wondered by the anthem. Convolutions. Convolutions means coils or the twists. Okay, so the fence, there's an iron fence around the church and it is coiled. So that's why he was, uh, he stand there and he came across the fence. So he was standing across the fence. The moon was above, which means it was night time now, and radiant. Radiant means sending out the light, shining or glowing brightly. So the moon was shining very brightly. Vehicles and pedestrians were few. Vehicles means there were less vehicles on the road. Pedestrians means people walking on the road rather than traveling in a vehicle. So there were people were less, and the vehicles were also less. Sparrows twittered sleepily in the eaves or a little, while the scene might have been a country churchyard. What are eaves? Okay, so can you see this portion of a house, the part of a roof that meets or overhangs the wall of a building? So at that part the sparrows could stay. Okay, so the sparrows were, they were chirping, they were twittering, they were making these sounds. Okay, or a little while the scene might have been a country churchyard. Okay, and the anthem that the organist played cemented Soapy to the iron fence. What does this mean? Because of the anthem, Soapy was stuck. Cemented means fixed. He did not move. Okay, otherwise cemented means settle or establish. Okay, so he was standing there and he did not move. That means he was fixed there. Soapy to the iron fence, for he had known it well in the days when his life contained such things, such as mothers and roses and ambitions and friends and immaculate thoughts and callers. Now, why did the anthem astonished Soapy? Because it was related to his past life. Now, Soapy has a criminal background, but he wasn't like this since the beginning. The initial days of his life were very nice. What are things? Mothers and roses. Mothers means his mother. Roses means the good old days. Okay, they're basically, it's a comparison. Ambitions, he also had some ambitions to become something in life. Friends, he also had friends. Okay, he wasn't into all these bad things earlier. Immaculate thoughts and colors, perfectly clean and tidy. So he was also this person who did not have any bad intention, he did not do any bad thing. Immaculate thoughts and colors means the clean and tidy thoughts he had in his past life, and colors means he did not have any bad record. Okay. The conjunction of Sophie's receptive state of mind and the influences about the old church brought a sudden and wonderful change in his soul. What does this mean? The two things that happened together to Sophie. One, conjunction means uh, when action or instance of two or more events. So here, what are the two events that happened to Sophie? The first is the receptive state of mind. What do you mean by receptive state of mind? Willing to consider or accept new suggestions or ideas. So the very first state, that Sophie's state of mind was receptive. He was willing to accept the new ideas. That is the first thing. And the second thing was influences about the old church. So very first thing, his state of mind was receptive. He was willing to accept certain things. Second thing was the influence about the old church. So there were many memories related to the old church with Soap, brought a sudden and wonderful change in his soul. So these two things, when combined, these two events when combined, they brought a beautiful and wonderful change in Soapy's soul. Now let's see what is that change. He viewed with rising horror the pit into which he had tumbled. Okay, we'll go one by one, so don't worry. Now this is the most important part of the chapter, where Soapy's transition from a bad person to a good person takes place. Okay, he viewed with rising horror into the deep pit he had tumbled. Now here the pit does not mean a hole or any cavity or as such. The pit means the dark phase, the bad influence that he was into. Okay, the bad phase of life where he used to do criminal activities. So that is referred to as a pit. Okay, into which he had tumbled. Tumbled means fell, fallen or collapsed. Okay, now the next, the degraded days. Degraded degraded means treated or regarded with contempt or disrespect. So they were very disrespectful days. Okay, unworthy desires. He had certain desires which were unworthy. Okay, he he would be wanting many things to acquire by doing such criminal activities, but now he is realizing that all those desires were unworthy. They were not worth of it. Dead hopes. So he had certain hopes, but they were all dead. So all these hopes he had in his earlier phase, but they were all dead. But now they are coming back. Wrecked faculties. What do you mean by wrecked? Wrecked means to destroy or badly damage something. Okay, so something was damaged. What was damaged? Faculties, an inherent mental or physical power. So his physical or mental power was damaged. Okay, in that phase when he was doing bad work. And base motives. What do you mean by base motives? The underlying reasons why people do what they do. So whatever reasons were there behind Soapy doing some bad work, that made up his existence. So all these things he is now realizing, that so many things he was into, but now he will become a good person. And also in a moment his heart responded thrillingly to this strange mood. A strong impulse moved him to battle with his desperate fact. Now, what is thrillingly? Thrillingly means producing sudden, strong, deep emotional excitement. What is impulse? Sudden, strong, unreflective urge or desire to act. So, sudden feeling to do something is impulse. Here in this story, thrillingly means some producing excitement. Okay, so suddenly he was excited. In a moment, his heart was excited, and a strong impulse, a strong emotion came into him uh, to battle with his desperate fact. What is desperate? Here it means hopelessness sense. A hopeless sense that a situation is as bad to be impossible to deal with. So he was into the desperate fact that his bad condition, his criminal activities, the all this dark phase is the desperate fact of his life. So that with that fact he is fighting right now. So battle with this fact means he's going to battle against these things and he's going to change. He would pull himself out of the mire and would make a man of himself again. What is this mire? Here it is a complicated situation. So what is a complicated situation? His situation of doing bad work. And now he decided that he will come out of this entire difficult situation and he will become a man of himself again. Man of himself again means the person he was before he used to do all these kinds of things. He would conquer the evil that had enslaved him. So the evil thoughts, the evil activities that he was enslaved. Enslaved means to uh, make someone a slave. So the bad activities he used to do and he was enslaved by these evil thoughts. Now he will conquer them. Okay, now he will become a good person. There was time. He was young yet. So he was young. There was a chance that he will improve himself. He would resurrect his old eager ambitions and pursue them without faltering. What is resurrect? Restore to life. What is faltering? Losing strength. Okay, yes, losing strength or moment. So he was of the thought that he will resurrect, he will come back to his life. Okay, he's come back to his old eager ambitions, whatever ambitions he had before starting doing bad work, and pursue them without faltering. So he will pursue all the good things without losing any strength. Those solemn means serious. Okay, those solemn but sweet organ notes had set up a revolution in him. Revolution means a very uh, different change. Okay, a very important change. Tomorrow he would go into the roaring downtown district and find work. So he decided that he's going to go tomorrow in the downtown district and find work. Now what is roaring? Behaving or living in a noisy or riotous manner. So because the district is very noisy and find work. So he decided that he will do some work. What work? A Ford importer had once offered him a place as a driver. So he had a job offer and now he's going to do that. He would be somebody in the world. He would. Now suddenly when he is thinking of all these things, suddenly what happens? Soapy felt a hand laid on arm. He took someone's hand was on him. He looked quickly around into the impassive face of a policeman. So who was that person? Whose hand was that? A policeman. What is impassive? Not feeling or showing emotion. So the policeman was very serious. What are you doing here? The policeman asked Soapy. Nothing, said Soapy. Then come along, said the policeman. 3 months on the island, said the magistrate in the police court the next morning. What is magistrate? A civil officer who administers law. Now, many people will think that why is he getting arrested? What did he do? So the answer is vagrancy. The state of being a vagrant or being homelessness. So someone who does not have a house or a place to live in, that person could land up in jail. You can read this part for your reference. Now, as you know that this PDF will is downloadable, and the link will be in the description. So what you find here is a explanation or a summary. Now here you'll find the meaning of the story and the many important uh, parts of the story, like how the end is important, how in the beginning Sophie's attempts and Sophie's behavior and all those things. It will help you to answer some textual questions. So this was the video, and make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share the video with your friends. Till then, I take a leave, and till then, keep learning.